everyone, and welcome to the LTH product briefing. I'm thrilled to be joined today by Willem Wiggers of Weagree. Willem, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invitation, Nikki.
And Willem is the founder and the general director or the CEO of Weagree. Interestingly, it's such a large platform now that does so many different things, but actually started in the space of document automation. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Historically, I was asked how I would manage the model contracts of a very major Dutch multinational. And I said, well, first you need to make your Word documents in order, and then you actually need to automate them in a solution where you go to an extremely user questionnaire, and which then generates the Word document as lawyers, as attorneys from a law firm would like to see it. And there are peculiarities that are very specific, hard to do, but that's really where we started. And once you start in that part of the field, contract creation or contract automation, you start building up features and large functionalities like task management, like transaction management easily.
And now you've built it up and it is a full CLM as well as document automation, and you have some AI features in it. And I just need to tell the audience that if we were to see a full demo of this platform, because of the range of things that it does, it would take something like an hour and a half. So Willem, what are you going to show us today?
I'm going to quickly show you around the interface. So I think it would be helpful to understand the interaction design. We've worked very hard on it. My own background is one of 5 years in a premier law firm, Allen & Overy, here in Amsterdam, the M&A practice. So I know how to orchestrate and manage a large transaction. After that, I've been working in very large Dutch multinationals like Philips and DSM. And from there, I've seen how contracting works in the in-house legal practice. And with that experience, we have always been able to design and develop the application. And this is, of course, anchored or visible in the interaction design, as it is called with a nice term. So I will show that. Then I think it helps a lot if I show you a little bit around the questionnaire and highlight a few of the clause library elements, maybe mention approval workflow related aspects and the document management, the DMS, that is in Weagree. You may integrate it with your SharePoint or NetDocuments or any other document management solution. But of course, we have in the application integration options as well. And I'll probably show you a little bit of the reporting data, which is highly visualized. And it's very appealing to show. And another quite visual thing in the application, fully integrated with all the features, is a task Kanban, where it's easy to imagine contracts trigger tasks by virtue of a deadline approaching, an expiry approaching, but also in the contract creation stage where you start the questionnaire and until you generate a Word document, your contract, there's a task, finish your questionnaire to be done, to be completed. And Weagree knows, of course, that once you generate the document, then that task is automatically taken off of the Kanban, but it triggers a new task to follow up on the first draft of the agreement. And likewise, you will have your Kanban fully automatically filled with tasks that relate to e-signing has started, but is not yet finished. So you need to follow up on the e-signing. Or when the document has been e-signed through external e-signing providers, like a DocuSign, Adobe Sign, for example, that when the document automatically comes back within Weagree, you would need to be alerted. So you have on your dashboard the view of the status of that. And of course, you have the Kanban view where you can manage and oversee the tasks that you have in your whole contracting work or any work that you bring into Weagree.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like a nice little tour of the system. So why don't we jump in and have a look?
Yeah, sounds like an excellent idea. So this is the dashboard where users arrive when they enter the Weagree wizard. You have these widgets, one for creating a contract, and it will show the last 5 templates that you've been using. If you have tasks, it shows you the tasks, basically the 5 most important tasks for the time being. If you have contracts that are running pre-signing, you would have the 5 ones listed over here. We might touch upon the large transaction management, which is what we call projects, because use cases that we support are not only M&A related transactions, financing transactions, but also construction agreements or company agreements. And in that case, you would have a large set of clustered agreements, sometimes even connected questionnaires, and you would collect those under here. And you can see already, if you peeked into the text of the screencast, that we showcase M&A transactions and LMA financing agreements. We have a bank who does that. If you walk through the interaction design, the most appealing one is probably the analysis and reporting screen. Let's wait for a second to have all the data loaded alongside the Zoom session that we are having. And on the analysis and reporting dashboard, you have in one overview in those quite appealing widgets. Here, for example, countries where we do business. It indicates that we have 19 contracts in Germany, 2 in Poland, and in France some 36. You can see which type of contracts we have been doing over the past half a year or so. And if you scroll down, you also have the metrics like what was the average time to approval? What is the average time to e-signing? Can we optimize a global map for where our suppliers located? You can monitor your colleagues, oversee their workload, see where they get overheated for the work. And we have set up this demo portal for former cyclists like Jacques Anquetil, Bernard Hinault, and a famous Dutch cyclist, Marianne Vos. You have overview of how your licenses are being distributed, how the AI plugin has been used, and how often you analyze or review a first draft that was sent to you by the counterparty to the agreement. And you can see how the portal is being used by the users on the portal. And this is the reporting dashboard. You can create your own widgets. There are many of them. Weagree comes along with quite a number of default widgets that you would want to see as a head of legal or a general counsel, but you can create those yourself as well. It's probably beyond the scope of this demo to step into that. I talked about the task Kanban. Well, here is it. Here are those tasks, here's a manual one, I guess, follow up an internal email, finish your questionnaire, and some other translation library, I don't know what it is. And you can basically drag them across the statuses and give follow up on that. If you click on, sorry.
But as you're doing that, are actions happening in the background or what you said before? So if something is automatically finished and Weagree knows, will it move tasks within the Kanban automatically?
Indeed, many tasks are known to Weagree. If you initiate an e-signing, then Weagree initiates it. So the tasks give follow-up to the contract finishes automatically because you wouldn't give follow-up if you started e-signing. Give follow-up to e-signing is there until the e-sign document is returned, and then you get registered the contract in the CLM part of Weagree, which is well visible over here. The top navigation of the Weagree wizard is really showing the main tasks as an in-house attorney, in-house lawyer, or an attorney in a law firm would typically do. And of course, if you don't have those features or you don't use them for Weagree, then you can hide all those tabs and it simplifies your view of the interface. This is a full running practice. Then this can also be turned into a sort of to-do list. It's one click and then you have basically the Kanban converted in a table. You see on many pages, I'm not sure if we get there, but at all stages of drafting and negotiating an agreement, approving contracts, looking into the signed contracts or searching a contract, you will see what we call My Colleagues subtab, where you can monitor and see what your colleagues are doing, or step in if they have their part-time day or so. It's probably an idea to jump into a questionnaire and to see how that works. My idea would be that we pick an existing transaction, and I would pick an LMA facility, a senior facility agreement transaction, which in the very basic setup would have an NDA, would start or would be preceded by a term sheet and then end in an LMA senior facilities agreement. And you would have that over here. And from here, you can step straight into the questionnaire. Your document management part is actually with one click available. And if there are archived ones that you took out of the view, you can bring them in view with one click only. Now, when you start such transaction, transaction, you start such a project, it will come up with a questionnaire that asks you whether the loan will be bilateral or syndicated, or whether it's a secured loan, and whether you want to also manage from the portal closing documentation or a pre-transaction arrangement. And if you would do so, it then asks you what the type of pre-transaction arrangements are here in the framework of this LMA transaction. And you can tick and untick the boxes. And then what you get is a full screen of a lot of templates, and you can manage all of them from here. So you would invite your colleagues to join in the project, to join in the transaction, work together with it. You can see that over here, persons and team involved, and it's quite a team working on this transaction. You have a Kanban, which is also specific, dedicated for this transaction, where you have the same project only, or this LMA transaction only related tasks visible, and you can give follow-up to that, or you can assign a task to someone from the project. Now, the more historic part of Weagree is, as I already said, contract automation, so the contract creation part. And a nice step up is to step into the very simple NDA. If I click on the description, it brings me now to an intermediate screen where I have the high-level metadata of this agreement. This bullet shows, the green bullet actually shows that the risk assessment has also taken place. And regarding the confidentiality, there was one risk for assessment, and which is conform policy. So it's colored green, but it may have other colors.
So there's some compliance that is operating here as well.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's very easy to set it up, because first of all, you need to automate your agreements within Weagree, and you build up in the automation a full questionnaire, and you know in advance that certain Q&A questions have a different risk profile as opposed to other Q&A answer options. So you would link those risk levels to the answer that had been given. And the interesting thing is, and that's quite a powerful one for if you also use artificial intelligence for analyzing first draft received from the counterparty. If that's an NDA, then you would pick the questionnaire that you use for creating your own NDA, or you pick the questionnaire that you use for your own distribution agreement, and you use those Q&A questions and answers as prompts to send alongside the first draft distribution agreement that was sent to you. And you would ask GPT Turbo, GPT-4 Turbo or 3.5 or what have you, which high model may be there. You ask it to analyze the entire contract. And this has proven to be extremely powerful. Yes, it's really GPT that hallucinates also now and then. The fascinating thing is that sometimes it hallucinates, but you can optimize it relatively easily in redefining or reformulating your ANI prompt. And that's, of course, it's hot. It's extremely exciting to see what it does and what it delivers. But let's
it's great. I can see. So essentially what you're doing is using GPT to extract key aspects of the questionnaire or the agreement and then assess those for risk. And so you move from ultimately generating a document to then also being able to track it for risk and compliance purposes, as well as later for contract management, I imagine. Is that the workflow? Yeah.
Absolutely. And then you may have an approval workflow where approvers and other stakeholders in a transaction may discuss with each other alongside the questionnaire or alongside the contract why they approve or reject in their role. And the submitter of the contract or the requester of the contract may then go back and negotiate a better deal.
Excellent. Well, we are running out of time, Willem. We have, I think, 1 more minute left. If you want to quickly show us this questionnaire, and then perhaps we could wrap up.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's not dig into the deepest things, but what you see over here is on the left-hand side, you see the questionnaire, and you can plug in straight from the clause library. Sorry, you can plug in straight from the clause library, tick the wrong button, clauses that you might want to include over here. So an IP license out clause can be plugged in halfway the template, and it would basically renumber the clauses. It would add the annexes that are triggered by the clause that you insert. And likewise, you have the clause library as an integral part for creating your contracts. Really gives strong power, the extra layer for in-house legal counsel. Then what you also see is in the underwater screen, where if you answer the questionnaire, you can see exactly what the resulting text in the underwater screen is. It runs along with you answering the questionnaire.
In real time.
In real time, yeah. And you can detach it if you have a second monitor. Here on the one screen sharing, it's very awkward to do that. But if you have a second monitor, you can have the Word document, the contract, scroll along with you answering the questionnaire while you answer the questionnaire. And if you have any questions, you might notice that it's not that well visible in the screen sharing probably, but there are little balloons next to the clauses and as well as next to the Q&A questions. And if you click on it, it allows you to give feedback to the template administrator so that you can optimize the language of the template. But you may as well have questions to your colleagues. So you mention your colleagues. For example, I might have Lance Armstrong, the boss, as a colleague that I would like to ask something. And can we do this? It sounds weird. And then when I send it, then Lance Armstrong would automatically receive an email with a link. He clicks on the link, jumps straight into the questionnaire, and has the possibility to answer the question on the panel that is in the margin.
Willem, thank you so much. We are out of time, but it's such a powerful platform. I know it's a pity to show it in such a short amount of time, but I'm hopeful that it is enough for people to get a good sense initially of what the platform really can do.
There's a lot to be added, of course.
Thank you, Willem, so much for showing us Weagree, some portion of it. I know many of you will have had your appetite whetted and will want to see more. We will put a URL across the bottom of the screen so you can reach out to Willem and his team and indeed see more. And in the meantime, Willem, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks everyone for watching. This has been the LTH product briefing, and we will see you next time.